We got someone sounding like Darth Vader in here. So welcome to season 2, episode 34. We're going to be talking about the Divisional series and Red October. So we want to kind of start off with our sponsors and pay some bills first. So Pensive Technology. They will do internet, wire your house for faster internet. They'll do security, cameras, set your doors up for a smart house. So go to pensivetechnology.com, ask for Chris there, tell him DPF sent you. Now we're going to talk about our next teaming up with. So we are proud to be Yards Philly Standard. So Philly Standard comes in a bunch of different flavors. This is the beer flavored Philly Standard with Kyle Schwarber on it. There's a fruit punch, an orange, a lemon, a lime, and another one, right? Orange, is it? Yes, maybe I said that. So thanks for Yards for supplying the podcast and our tailgates with Yards. We're next going to talk about Hidden Still Spirit. So they actually came out to the garage. The Hidden Stills team came out, and they are releasing or have released new items, which are RTDs or ready to drink cocktails. So I have the vodka soda. What do you guys have?
I have the vodka and iced tea.
Cool.
I have the bourbon and ginger.
All right. So
I have the bourbon.
I got that one too, Mike. So
and I got some rum here.
So they make bourbon, tequila, vodka, rum, gin. So Uncle Badloads loves their gin. I'm going to tell you that. It's one of his favorites. So thanks for Hidden Stills. There is kind of a word out there that Hidden Stills wants to get into the Philly markets. They have a Pittsburgh Steelers themed bottles, which I think Chris has a few of. So look out for that. We're not sure what it's going to be or when, but maybe there's going to be a DPF something. So that should be cool.
I need to clarify. I don't like the Steelers. My daughter's boyfriend likes the Steelers. That's why I have the bottles. For him, not for me. Go Birds.
It wasn't me. It's not mine, baby. Wait, this says Chris Dugan on it. It's not mine, baby. And last but not least, 2 podcasts ago, Sean Selby came on. His book is out today. No One Likes Us, but We Really Do Care. It is out on Amazon. It's out hardcover, softcover, Kindle. And pretty soon, I think Sean's going to do the narration of it. I loved the book. I read it in 24 hours. It captures the essence of the Philadelphia sports fan and explains a little bit of why you're feeling what you're feeling, and it makes you feel not alone. So go in, check out the book, get it as a present. I know that Christmas is coming soon enough. Get it for someone for Halloween. Fuck it. So since we're done that, I kind of want to kick off the show and there's some of those late night guys that come on and they kind of do like their opening monologue. So I want to do that a little bit here. And recently on the page, there's been a lot of like Mets fans coming on to our page and running their mouths and doing things like that. Like, listen, I get it, but we're not doing that. Do you know why? Because we've been there before. Act like you have. We're not going onto your pages. None of our fans are doing it. We're not doing it. Like, it's unbelievable. And, I want to kind of talk about some of the things they say, like, oh, you're like a little city syndrome. Here's the thing. Your stadium is in Flushing. You're not New York. You have New York at the front of your fucking shirts, and you're in Flushing. That's like the Phillies playing in fucking Ridley. You're not a New York team. It's ridiculous. I'm so sick of that. And you know what? Our stadium area is nice. Your stadium area is a fucking shit heap. It is an absolute disaster of fucking shops. There's more illegal shit going on there. And I'm not talking about, when Keith Hernandez and the 86 guys were snorting coke down and outside. It's like an absolute disaster. It just boggles my mind. to digress, and we'll get into talking about it. Like, listen, the Mets are playing as a good team. No one's taking them lightly, but I'm not scared of them. You shouldn't be scared. I want this. Don't they want this too? Like, I'm talking about our fans. Like, I hear too much fear, and I'm absolutely sickened by it. I think you respect teams. I don't think you fear teams. And I don't know why that we would absolutely do that. I'll tell you a story. Joan and I went to Citi Fields. It was 2 or 3 years ago. Phillies were like, it was 3 years ago, I think. The Phillies weren't good. And, there's still Phillies fans there. And when I came home, the first thing I wanted to do was fucking completely wash myself. Completely wash myself. Because I smelled like piss, sewage, rats. It was and used car oil, because that's all that's around there. It was a fucking disaster.
Yep.
And then these numbnuts from the Mets, like, where were you for the past 10 years at Citizens Bank? It's just as close, right? You could have came. Why weren't you there? If you really love your team, why weren't you there? Because you're cockroaches, just like the Cowboys fans are. You're the same exact thing. You're absolute pieces of trash that just are front runners. You're not someone that loves the team. Do you know what? Because all you assholes, I looked at some of your posts. Yeah, I can look at it, but I'm not going to go on and comment. You wanted Alonso run out of the fucking city. And now you think he's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. You're a fucking joke of a franchise. You're a joke of an absolute team. And I mean, not the team, because they're good, like the fans. You're just assholes. So in closing, before we get into this, my mother-in-law got me a gift today, and this is what I'm talking about. This is that, when I was born, I loved collecting hats. I've worn hats my whole life. My dad had 2 rules: no fucking Mets and no fucking Yankees hats. And this is what she got.
That's awesome.
I'm talking about. That's what it's like to be a Philadelphian. I didn't ask for this, but she knows. We're born this way. I'm just, I'm just so, I'm loving it. And you know what? I don't care about my family right now. I don't care about my job. I'm not fucking sleeping tonight. And we're going to the game tomorrow at fucking 11 a.m. and we're getting fucking roaring ripped. All right, so we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled program. Sorry,
Thought we were going to do a top 10 list.
So, John, you went to this this bus tour, the Phillies bus tour. How was your experience? Tell us about it.
Complete waste of time. I thought I was going to go and they were going to give out some prizes, and it's going to be like some festive thing. Like, I know it's not like the when they show up and do like the little block parties and stuff. I knew like it had several stops, and mine was the second to last stop in Conchi. So I got there maybe like 15 minutes before the bus came. Bus shows up. It's these 2 amateur maestro DJs or something trying to get the crowd hyped and all. Let's go Phillies. Everybody gets a towel. Dude waves the towel. It's the same cheap towel they've been giving out the last 2 years. So it's like, well, I'm going to get one on Saturday. I don't need that. Yeah, it's that, but it's in black. It's the prints in black.
So could you draw fuck the Mets? Did you write FTM on the bus?
No, you weren't allowed to sign the bus. They said, we signed the bus last year, but we're not doing that right now. You could sign one of the banners down there. Dude, the banner was I can't really do it, but like maybe this long and like this wide. And I'm like, I'm not waiting in line to sign that shit. And that's all they were doing. And they weren't giving shit out. It was a lot of old people, too. It smelled like a Cracker Barrel between shifts. I didn't know what they said. The green fella's coming soon. And I'm like, what, they going to pull up in a Prius? He's probably in the first floor of the bus. He's probably in that, the double-decker part. And then I paid 80 cents to park for 5 hours. And I was only there 10 minutes. So, Conchock and Town Hall, I will be contacting you for, a refund. That's bullshit. But, yeah, like the next time Phillies, if it ain't Dan Baker with a robe and a crown, I don't want it. Like, you put a little, you got a lot of money. Throw some beads out or throw some little prizes out or, whatever. little plush style, something. Get the party going. And the music sucked, by the way, too. Stubby, but I don't like Stubbs, but Stubbs' playlist is way better.
So was there anyone recognizable? Was there an announcer there? Was there the Fanatic there? Was anyone important there?
No, just some ball girls and what was it? Hollywood and Tonka were their names. That were the maestros. I'd never heard of them, never seen them in my life. There was a guy dressed as Elvis there with his belly out, so it was like fat Elvis. Didn't get to get a picture with him though. I wanted to. And he literally had it like hanging the fuck out. The one positive though, I did meet our DPF for Andrea, so that was cool.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that was about it. Do better, Phillies.
All right, so if you want to go, you're going to go once. You know, it's not going to be something you're doing again. It's like I did go last year, and I could have told you that it was terrible, but I wanted you to feel the pain too. I'm just being honest.
Thanks, man.
I just wanted you to feel that pain. Dugan, let's get hot and heavy here. Like, who's your fucking most hated Met of all time and why?
My God, the list could be as long as my leg. You know, they're so hateable. The entire franchise has been hateable for 50 years. I've been on this earth. I've hated them since the day I came out of the womb.
Yeah.
Some of the guys, I mean, they're the obvious guys. Gary Carter, Keith Hernandez. On this team, you know, Jeff McNeil's just got that fucking punchable face. He looks like he's ready to throw a temper tantrum like a 3-year-old at any second. And then we got this new Winker or whatever. I mean, what the fuck's that guy's problem? What's he get? Oh, like, dude, you've had like one good season in your entire career. You're up here slamming helmets when you score a run. You're a fucking tool bag, dude. You know, but I do have a story, and it's about a Met that he wasn't a Met very long. It was back in the early 80s, but I hated this guy ever since this day. I was probably about 8, 9 years old. My dad take me down to vet Phillies Mets. Larry Christensen was pitching for the Phillies. And he had a no-hitter going. It was either in the 6th or 7th inning. And up steps this guy. I'm not going to say his name yet. And he gets in the box, and he steps out. And then he gets in the box, and Christensen's getting into his set, and he backs out. And he did it about 4 or 5 times. The crowd's going nuts, booing. You know, he's just trying to break Christensen's momentum, you know. And he did. First pitch, Christensen throws, line drive down the third base line. Schmidt just misses it, goes for a double, breaks up the no-hitter. Fucking George Foster. He's better known as a Red, but he was a Met for about 5 seasons. Fuck George Foster. My 8-year-old self says fuck George Foster. My 50-year-old self says fuck George Foster. That stayed with me. That story stayed with me. It pisses me off every time I see the Mets. I think of that. So fuck him. Fuck McNeil. Fuck Hernandez. Fuck Gary Carter. Fuck Tim Tuffle.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
Yep. Mike, are you ready to live up to this level of vitriol?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to pick one, but since Dugan picked 6, I'll go with my 6. I did not like David Cone because he shoved the bats up the Phillies' ass all the time. I hated that dude. The next guy I'm gonna put with the last guy, Max Scherzer. I don't like him now, and I didn't like him when he was on the Mets. I think the Mets are still paying him like $12.5 million a year too. Still, you already said Keith Hernandez. I'll go with my last pitcher before my 2 hated infielders, Aaron Harang. You guys remember this dude?
Oh yeah.
Aaron Harang. I used to think that I could smell the Fremunda cheese through the TV when that guy pitched. Man, I just like a visceral hatred of Aaron Harang for no other reason than I thought he looked like an asshole when he was on the Mets. And then, Travis d'Arnaud. So been on the Braves for a long time, but he was a Met, and he's a Philly killer. But the last 2 guys are real super Philly killers. Michael Conforto, couldn't stand that dude. And every time you can ask hashtag Fred Love, every time Brandon Nimmo comes to the plate right now, I want to drive to wherever they're playing and punch him right in the face. I cannot stand Brandon Nimmo. The way he he's like twitchy and flinchy in the box. The way like he even uses his time. He has one timeout now. He used to do that George Foster thing where he would try and break the pitcher's rhythm, but he uses the one timeout that way now. That's my guy right there. Like the rest of them, a lot of hatred, but right now because it's familiar, that Nimmo's my guy.
He's so dorky. He's just a dork. Like sprinting down to first base on a walk. He's just like an awkward dork. Yeah, it's crazy.
If you want to asphyxiate him, you don't even need two hands. You just have to put your hand over his mouth because the dude doesn't breathe out of anywhere else. Like that's all you'd have to do is put your hand over his mouth, and he's not even realizing that his nostrils could breathe. The dude, watch him tomorrow.
I agree with
mouth
that.
breathing 100%. John, who do you got?
You guys gave a few, so I'll give a few real fast. Pitchers wise, I got a couple pitchers I hated. This one guy I loved before he went to the Mets, but when he went there, I hated him. Johan Santana, loved him when he was on his other, but when he went to the Mets, I was just like, "Fuck you, dude." Bartolo Colon and his tiny fucking hat, I hated that motherfucker. But going back, probably Howard Johnson. He looks like the kind of guy that checks the fucking phone booth for quarters all the time, or puts peanut butter on the fucking receiving end or the hearing end, like an asshole. But David Wright was a pretty much a piece of shit, like in the 08 the 08 era, talking shit. And Jose Reyes and Alonso, and one more pitcher. He was cocky. He was cocky and weird. He was like a weirdo, and he never mounted the shit. Remember, I forget his first name. Harvey. Remember Harvey, the pitcher?
Yeah.
Matt Harvey.
Yeah, Matt Harvey. Yeah,
Matt Harvey.
Yeah, and fuck the guy that used to hop over the line with the superstitions, with whoever the fuck that guy's name was.
There's a lot of those
Wendell.
guys.
Remember that dude?
Wendell.
Yeah.
Came to the Phillies. He
Yeah.
was in the. He came with Dykstra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to segue before I get into mine and tell a story about one of our followers, Joey. So he goes to a lot of like these sports cards events, and one of them just kind of put out, like, it was yesterday, which is terrible fucking timing on this. And it was like the Philadelphia Card Expo at the Oaks, Community Center or Civic Center, whatever the fuck it's called. And it's like big sexies coming to Philly. Like they're promoting Bartolo Colon. So my man wrote a fucking strongly worded fucking email like he absolutely should and said, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I've come for 20 years. You're going to fucking advertise Bartolo Colon when we're playing the fucking Mets? EAD. Second plug for Joey is, I just talked to this dude before the podcast. Do you know what he's doing? He's opening cards right now. He's opening fucking Topps Heritage. He's pulling all the Mets out. He's going in at 1:30 tomorrow, and he's putting a fucking Met in every urinal in CBP.
Bravo.
That's what he's doing. He's been saving up his dog's shit for a week, and he has a bunch of fucking Mets fucking ice cream hats, and he's putting his dog shit all over the fucking place with these fucking helmets. I think he usually likes to get one of the police horses, but this is what type of dedication. Joey's not sleeping. He's out there doing work.
So can I just highlight that we
doing the
say
Lord's work.
the word fuck a lot, but we don't say EAD on the program. We're not allowed to say eat a dick.
I was about to say that.
No, we are, but it's like one of my like catchphrases. So like,
Gotcha.
I wanted people to know, kind of what it came from. So mine's Ray Knight. I hate this guy. You know what? He was one that was, started with the Reds, and he was Pete Rose's replacement. So like he tried to act like Pete Rose. He had his like, the stirrups pulled up. He tried to be like, more of a tough guy. This dude was fucking terrible as a player, terrible as a manager, and he just had that face. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Yes, he was the 86 World Series MVP. That's great. I'm sure that's the one thing he can hang his hat on. This dude, he's a Major League Baseball player. He married an absolute fucking atrocious troll because of her money. She's a golfer. Nancy Lopez. She finally dumped his ass after 20 years. This dude's a piece of trash. He went on to the Nationals. Terrible there. I don't know what he did. We've never heard of, never heard of him. I just hate Ray Knight. I hate Ray Knight. I think of the Mets. I think of Ray Knight. Jumping up and down like he did something in the NLDS.
That's what I'm picturing as you're talking about him. Him coming up the line. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Jackass.
He hit 200 for his career. He hit 391 in the World Series. He deserved the MVP, but he's the reason why I hate them. So,
EAD, Ray Knight.
Yeah.
EAD.
EAD day. All right. I'm going to step into some of these comments here. So, step right up and fuck the Mets.
Yeah.
So that's a good play of the song. Well done, Steve. Alex, FTM. Jared across the street, FTM. Eddie Lutz, FTM, all week long. Jared would yell it from his house, but in front of his kids, he can't swear.
Oh boy.
Jared, I'm going to say, you can do that.
Maybe this week. This might be a week where
this is okay.
Break that rule.
Steph, FTM. Philip Thomas, FTM. We're not going to, don't even think that way. Don't think that way. I'm still with my desire to taste the La Cabra brewing beer. All my good vibes from Puerto Rico. All right. I love that. Cool.
Yes.
I don't know where La Cabra is. If it's here, we'll get you something. If it's somewhere else, we're not. And good luck trying to find it. Donna, appreciate you coming on. FTM, can't stand them. Alex, Hidden Stills Tequila is 2 thumbs up. Appreciate that. My boy Bill. Hey girls, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Hey boy, how you doing?
Hey, doing, Sailor? What you doing?
I'm not going to stop on this FTM and there's a reason. So Tracy is FTM. Bill Arter's FTM. Fred, FTM. They are trash and always be trash. Bottom feeders. How does it feel to be second on the honeymoon? Mets below. Let's go to what I want to talk about next, which is, as we were talking, we're at an FTM count of 36. I expect this to be 100 between us and the comments by the end of the show. But we do have someone off camera here in the producing room of the DPF garage counting FTMs. As you can see, we all have new headphones. We're very professional here. So we're counting fucks and, have proper headphones. So, Mike, why do people say the Phillies can't hit left-handed pitchers?
So I have a theory on this. When you take 2 starters like Stott and Marsh, and your manager sits them consistently against left-handed pitching, there becomes a perception I don't know if it's within the players, but it's for sure within the fans that those 2 and thus the whole lineup can't hit left-handed pitching. I think Stott has come out of that a little bit towards the end of the year. Marsh showed a flash or 2, but still hitting 148 or something like that, or against lefties. So
it's actually a little higher. I have it up here. He's 190. He finished 192.
Okay, so
still not great, but
then both him and Stott brought it, because wasn't he in the 140s at one point?
He was. Yeah.
So I think it's a perception thing, Chris, to be honest with you, and not an actual analytics proven thing. But perception is reality for a lot of people, especially on social media and online and things like that. So that's just my 2 cents.
So Chris, to you, our crack analytics team said that the Phillies were hitting 270 against lefties, 251 against righties. What about Kodai Sengai pitching? Is that a reaction to this? Is it a desperate move, or is it just to throw the Phillies off because they were preparing for Peterson?
I think it's the fact that they, that series went 3 games and they used a lot of guys in that series. They even brought McGill in, last night in that game. So I think they kind of depleted their starters. So in my mind, it's kind of a desperation move by the Mets. I think he's only pitched like 5 innings all season. So I think it's a thing where they didn't want to bring Severino back on short rest. And they kind of went through everybody else. I mean, Peterson pitched in relief the other night. Like I said, McGill pitched in relief. So I think they're desperate for a starter for tomorrow. And I'm sure, I can't imagine he's got a long leash. He's probably on about a 50 or 60 pitch count. It's probably a 2 or 3 inning stint for him. And then we're going to get into their bullpen.
I saw he threw 25 pitches max.
Yeah.
In the bullpen.
Yeah, I think they're reaching for something, and maybe it's like an opener situation where he goes through the lineup, not even once, maybe 2 innings, and he's out of there.
Yeah,
which I think that's I think their bullpen's not that great, and I think that's the key to the whole series is getting into their bullpen, and if they're going to give you that right out of the gate, put you into their bullpen in the 2nd, 3rd inning of a game, Phillies have to take advantage of it and jump all over it.
So that's kind of like leads to my next question. John, are the Mets just giving us game 1?
I think so, because I think they're beat up. They're beat up from the last series. Like you guys were just saying, they used a lot of pitchers. Their bullpen's not that great. I think, and what Dugan was saying, I think Senga's only going to maybe, I'd say 3 innings max. Then they'll go to whoever, I don't even know if they have a long guy, whoever their longest guy is. Maybe they'll try to, piecemeal it or some shit. But, yeah, I would say so. Because I knew they weren't going to do Severino on short rest. And I think when me and Steve were hanging out the other night, I don't think Quintana would have been ready either.
Yeah, no, he definitely would have been. He pitched after Severino in that series. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're starting pitching. They weren't, when they had to bring those guys in relief in game 2 and game 3, I think that screwed them up to start this series. Now, I don't think the Mets are giving the Phillies the game. I mean, but I think they know Wheeler's a tough matchup. Let's not throw Severino on short rest in a game that even if he pitches his A game, we might not win. Just because Wheeler may be more dominant. And shut the Mets down. So you roll the dice and hope that you can get through it with a bullpen game and that their bats do enough against Wheeler to keep them in the game. I just hope the Phillies take advantage of the door's open. The Phillies need to just kick it in. They just need to kick it in.
So I haven't seen Mendoza make bad decisions, honestly. Like watching him through the last couple of games with the Braves and then watching how he handled the pitching. And guys, I think it's a smart decision. He's looking to win games 2, 3, and 4. If somehow they get at Wheeler, good for them. Yeah. They want to keep Wheeler off the mound for the 2nd time. Right. And the way to do that is they have to win 2, 3, 4. Coming back at home with Wheeler, I think that's a tougher play. Before we kind of get into the NLDS roster, I'm going to say some good things about what I saw of the last couple games. And some things that I think, that weren't so good. So the Mets hit the ball the other way. All the time.
They only hit 1 home run in that series.
All the time.
Alonso's home run's the only one they hit.
Yeah. Hitting the ball the other way behind the runners, moving them across, not striking out in situations, except for Alonso did a lot. But I think that's smart. We kind of are going to be talking about our keys to the series coming up next. But, Mike, what's your opinions on the Phils roster? What's going to happen? Who's left off? Who's on?
So it looks like there's a preview on MLB.com, and it looks like Kennedy makes it, but Stevenson doesn't. And that's surprising to me. If that is actual, if that's the actual roster, there's no pitchers on there. But to me, that's surprising. And if that happens and that's for real, then I'd be surprised. Wilson makes it. I think he's done enough to be a right-handed bat off of the bench, and Clemens makes it. Love his clutchness. We've talked about that on this show before, and I think he's set up to do something special in some part of this Red October to help the team win. So
I'd be surprised if Buddy Kennedy's on the roster, just because I know the Mets are heavy left-handed starting pitching, but their bullpen is not real lefty heavy. It's more right-handed, and you're not starting Buddy Kennedy. You're going to bring him in off the bench if you bring him in at all. So I would think you'd want a lefty on the bench because their bullpen's more right-handed, especially the back end of their bullpen guys with Maton and Diaz, and a couple of the late inning guys are all right-handed. So that would surprise me. I think MLB should maybe just throw into something, see what sticks. I don't see Buddy Kennedy on this roster at all. I don't. Yeah,
could have just been the roster from the last game.
Yeah, I think he's a taxi squad guy. If hanging around, working out just in case somebody gets hurt. But I think if you're going to do anything with the Phillies bench, you're going to load it with left-handed hitting for the back end of their bullpen.
Yeah, because their bullpen only has one lefty. One. They're all right-handers. So I like you said, I don't see Buddy Kennedy. I see him on the taxi squad. I could see Cal Stevenson on the taxi squad. Probably Garcia or Marchand, one of them, just in case.
I think both of them are. Both of them are.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah,
that's smart. That's smart. You never know. But I don't see Buddy Kennedy on the thing. But just load up against some right-handers.
I want to put something out there and hear kind of what you guys have to say. I think that Mendoza is going to pitch Sengai only one inning. I think that Peterson is going to come in the second inning. I think that they're doing this to see what Topper is going to do and how he's going to put a left-handed heavy lineup, and then I think he's going to go left. What do you think?
Makes sense. I mean, he's a smart manager. He is, and I agree with you, Chris. I think he's guided them from a really bad start to a hot finish, and he's smart, and that would be smart, And I think Topper rolls with his lineup. He's going to play, Marsh and Stott tomorrow. Although I'd like to see Rojas just because defense in the playoffs. I'm about defense right now. Yeah. Stopping runs more than scoring runs. And so you would have a bench with, Hayes and Weston Wilson. You'd have a couple righties on the bench if it got to be the 4th, 5th, 6th inning and you needed a guy to come up in a spot, But I'd roll my lineup out there, whatever Topper feels is his top 9 against a righty. And see what happens, But you hope in the first inning, you got Schwarber, you got Harper, fucking take advantage in the first inning, then jump all over that son of a bitch, jump all over him and make that whole plan backfire.
Yeah.
Do you think Rojas's glove is broken in? Like he dropped the one over the fence. He dropped the one coming in. You think it's broken in now?
I hope so. He's
so.
Had a week to work on it, right?
Yeah.
Just makes me nuts when you're touted as the best defender and you do 2 really bad plays like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to some comments now, and what we're going to talk about next is, guys, think about what your key to the series is for the Phils versus Mets, good and bad. So let's see if there's anything that's interesting here. A lot of F the Mets. Wow, we got Bill again. Chris, we're your number 1 fans. I'm assuming he means Dugan. So that's Bill. I appreciate.
I don't think
appreciates
so.
That.
I think that was your rant. I think you got them going.
Apparently, John was an angry drunk after the bus.
God, it was not. You better have another comment to follow. We had a good time, Steve.
That was that was a little bit tough. Zig wants to take a run at Dugan. He says he has a list of Mets as long as his leg, and he says you're short. So
it's small writing, Sig. It's small writing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 0.5 font. So
Yeah,
there's
come
could
on.
be plenty of people there.
Sig's not that much taller than me. He better watch himself. I'll kick him in the shins.
Let's see if there's anything else here that there is a lot of FTM. So it's the amount of comments today are just overwhelming with FTMs. But what I'm going to do now is just briefly go to the end, see if there's anything there. Nope. So now what I'm going to say is the FTM count is at 91.
200's the goal now. 200.
So
200.
This is impressive.
Higher,
This is
higher,
like the-
higher.
This is like the Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon. It's like, what's the tote board now? Fuck the man.
Yeah, we're not talking anymore until we get 9 more
Yeah.
FTMs.
We need you. It only takes 91 FTMs a day.
I just got a text. If we get 100 FTMs, Chris's job is going to donate another 100 FTMs and match it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's nice of work. So Mike, what's your keys?
So I limited myself to 3. So I'm going to do them in reverse order. Number 3, Sanchez continues his home dominance. So we know that Sanchez is going to pitch game 2. Topper clearly listens to On Tap and took our advice. He's dominant at CBP. We know this. You know, everybody knows the stats. So we have Wheeler in game 1, and Sanchez continues his home dominance. Number 2 is Wheeler does his thing, right? He's legitimately 1 or 1A in the Cy Young conversation this year, and so he continues to do his thing. He 25 quality starts this year. He gets another one, and if we need a game 5, he gets another one to give us the best option to win. But number 1 is our bats have got to be like they were in the beginning of the year. We said it on one of our text threads. If the bats, if we're hitting, we're winning, and that's my number 1 key to this series. So, Dugan, I guess you're next.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go 3 too. I think the big thing is, and we saw it a little bit out of the Phillies as this later part of the season here. They started doing some of the little things. They started bunting more. We saw Marsh bunt a few times. Rojas bunted twice in one game. I think they need to do that. They need to do that. The little things, stealing bases. We saw Turner finally start running again in the last 2 weeks of the season. He started stealing bases again. Stott stealing bases. They have to find a way to manufacture run without the home run. Cut down on the strikeouts, put the ball in play, have productive outs. I think that's the key. I agree with Mike. I think Sanchez is a huge key in this series because you're either going to be up 1-0 or down 0-1 in that game 2. He needs to pitch solid. He can either, get the Phillies back in the series if they lost game 1, or put the hammer down and put the Phillies in the driver's seat by winning game 2. So he's a key. And I got 2 guys that I'm looking at. And I think if they produce and they do everything like they're capable of, the Phillies win this series easily. It's Trey Turner and Bryson Stott. They're my 2 keys. Those are the guys. They're kind of the guys that, they're the straw that stirs the drink, I think, for this Phillies. And when they're going well, the Phillies are going to do well. They run well. They hit behind, hit the ball the other way. They steal bases. They got a little bit of, enough pop to really make a difference. So I'm looking for Turner and Stott to have a big series, and the Phillies win easy.
I wrote that down. The straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, my 3 are this is kind of Captain Obvious, but I mean need the starters to go long, save the bullpen, especially your 3 big dogs. This is the first time and the last time you're ever going to hear me saying Topper is a genius. I love his rotation for the first round. Wheels is a dog. Sanchez, not that much playoff experience, but at home, he's a dog. And he's the only pitcher on this staff this year to where even if he gives up a couple early, I'm not worried. I'm like, he's going to settle down and he's going to last through 7, and then we'll go to the pen.
Think
So,
about
you need to
the
save
perception of Sanchez, how it changed. Though. Like last year when he started, they were getting him out after the 4th inning in that playoff start. Now they're saying,
now he's a
game
dog.
2, here's the ball, kid. Go out and win us game 2.
I love it.
I love it. He's pitched that well. He's earned it. He has earned it.
Yeah.
My
Most
second
improved pitcher.
Yeah. My second one is win this series in a sweep or 4 at the most. Can't have Wheels going twice because you lose him early in the next series. I don't want that. I'm hoping, we get these 2 at home. And Nola's great no matter home or away in the playoffs. I'm not fond of him. He's not my favorite pitcher, but I know he's got that dog in him. He's got that experience. I hope that's enough. But if not, I hope maybe, Sanchez and the pen can figure it out. Or maybe we see it. I'm sorry, Suarez. We see a different Suarez, and we don't have to go to the pen, whatever. But win it at 4 minimum, like at the max. Don't go to game 5. And my last one is the bats need to come alive, obviously. And I'm looking, especially like you said, Dugan, I'm looking for Stott to come alive. I'm looking for Hayes, but I'm looking for the bench guys too. Like I'm looking for like moments like that 08 team, like those Jeff Jenkins guys, those Dobbs guys. You know what I mean? Like those little clutch hits here and there, late substitutions late in the game, little pinch hits, whatever. But all around, we need the bats to come alive. Play a lot of small ball too. Small ball is very important in the playoffs. It's not all about fucking yakking for the ball. You know what I mean?
Well done, boys. Some of you know, some of you don't know. When Kruk was on, I'm a big wrestling fan, so I got 10 words for you: get him on, get him over, get him in. That's the key. The key to this is getting people on, being patient. The Brewers are very fast, but they stole at will. They absolutely stole at will. None of their starters or relievers hold on people well. So, once you're on, those guys that are fast, and, who's fast in the Phillies? Who can steal? Well, we're talking about Turner, Harper, Castellanos, Stott, Realmuto, Rojas. That's 6 fucking dudes that can steal a base.
Marsh.
7. So I think it's well summed up by all of you. Get them on, get them over, get them in. I'm not concerned about the pitching. We'll see what happens with that, right? So
the only guy I'm concerned about is Ranger. I mean, obviously, the way he's finished the season, and he might be the candidate for the 3-inning quick hook. Don't let him see the lineup more than once, and get him out of there unless he's cruising. But I think Topper's got to be on top of that. Like if he goes out there for a 3rd inning, have a guy already getting loose in the bullpen. So if shit starts going sideways, you're not reacting, you're proactive to getting them out of there before it does. I hope Ranger turns into a playoff Ranger. I mean, because he's been great for us, but the way he ended the season scares the shit out of me, especially in a game 4. If it's a decider.
In this, whatever game that they had, they said if he was throwing 92, 93, they changed his something. He's driving with his lower. We'll see. Like, I don't know, let's go LDS predictions. We'll go to John.
I see Cleveland over Kansas City in 4 or 5 because Cleveland's the better team. But I've seen a lot last series versus the Orioles to tell me they might hang around for a little bit. So, but Cleveland ultimately wins. I see the Yankees over Detroit in 4. Detroit doesn't have enough to beat the Yankees. It's just me and you, Chris, predicted the wild card. We thought they would get that first round, and they did. But they're not beating the Yankees. They win 1 at the most.
Yeah.
Dodgers over Padres. It's going to be a dogfight till the 5th game. I think the Dodgers ultimately win at the end. And like I just said a few minutes ago, Phillies over Mets in 4. We take it, and then we move on.
All right, Mike.
I had Cleveland in 4. For sure, they're the better team. They have the better bullpen, and they're rested now. So anyone that was nicked up is probably at 100%. I had the Yankees in 5. I really did not want to pick the Yankees, but I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah.
I picked San Diego in 4 over LA. I watched I watched 2 of those San Diego games. They're pretty scary right this minute. And I'm going with Sigs, Phillies in 3. I think Wheeler gets it done, Sanchez gets it done, and Nola gets it done. And we'll wait for whoever we play next, either LA or San Diego.
Yep. Go on, dude.
I it's a shame. I really like the way the Tigers and the Royals play. They're scrappy teams, battle. Like that Tigers team is really fun to watch. A bunch of no names. Who the hell's on that team? Skubal, and that's it. Like that's all you know. And that's where I think the problem's going to come. I think their lack of starting pitching is what's going to hurt them in this next series. And the Royals are just going to be, the talent level's just not there yet. Although they're a nice team, they're a good team. And I like the way they're building that team. So obviously, I like the Guardians at 4. I like the Yankees at 4. I think the Padres sweep the Dodgers.
Ooh.
I don't believe in the Dodgers pitching. I just think the Dodgers are too banged up. Their lineup obviously is dynamic with the hitters that they have. But I think the Padres pitching is really good, and I think they sweep the Dodgers. And I like the Phillies in 4. I'm going to give the Mets 1 just because of how well they've played down the stretch here, and they're scrappy. I mean, say what you want. You're down in the 9th inning by 2 runs with 2 outs, down, and you come back and win that game by 2 runs. They battle. The Phillies are going to have to play them for 9 innings. They're not going to go away.
Yeah.
So I think they steal 1 from the Phillies, but I think the Phillies win that series of 4.
Crazy fact too. Crazy fact I heard on the radio the other day. Detroit has only has one guy that has like 20 home runs, and only has one guy with over 60 RBIs.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yep. It is crazy.
So I am going with the Guardians in 4, and I would say the Guardians in 3 if they didn't have Tariq Screwball, because that's really good, and he's really good. The Yankees sweep. It's going to be a disaster for KC. I mean, they're just happy to be there at this point, but they're so overmatched. It's crazy. San Diego sweeps. I agree with Dugan. It's not even close. Michael King, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. Like, he's terrible, and like I'm like, they're not even losing anything by losing him. That's like, they're just absolute studs. And I think the Phillies win in 4. It's one of those things where we felt this magic before, right, guys? We know what this feels like. You're sneaking in. You get past the first round. The magic runs out at sometimes. And for the Mets, it's going to be this NLDS. The experience of the Phils, the Zach Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, it's too much for them. It's just too much. They may squeeze something out, but it's not going to be a serious win. So that's what I'm going with. Let's go around the horn. We're going to have a little bit of shorter show last night because, like, it's Friday night. You want to fucking do something else, right? We're just going to be staying on here drinking. John's not sleeping. Mike's not going tonight. Mike's not sleeping tomorrow night, and then he's going on Sunday. Dugan's not sleeping, and Chris is like, wait, I thought you were the one that's driving tomorrow. I am driving tomorrow. No, I'm not driving tomorrow. The youngest is.
Toot, toot. Beep, beep.
John, what's your final thoughts?
I just want to say I didn't want to play the Mets, not because I was scared, but I wanted to beat the Brewers because I said last year when they were making the playoffs, and I always say once in a while everybody talks about the Brewers. It's a fraud team. They always win the Central or whatever, and then poor Bob Uecker is like fucking 180 now. He's got so many.
He's only 92.
He's got so many like Central fucking division flags that he puts on his mantle. He's like, yeah, we're never gonna win. Fuck this. But I actually am owning. I'm actually absorbing us playing the Mets more and more as like after last, because I was asleep during the game last night. I had to be up super early today. So when I got the text from Papa John, I went to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, bring the Mets on. I am ready. I think CPP is going to be fucking rocking. It's going to be rumbling. There's going to be way more Phillies fans than Mets fans, even the Weasels that do sneak in. We're going to be incorrigible. And we're stealing two here, and the atmosphere is going to be great. And fuck them. Like, fuck the Mets. Somewhere in Indiana right now, a dude got his wife pregnant, and like in about 18, 19 years, that kid might be a Met. I fucking hate that kid already. You fucking hillbilly. I hate you. But yeah, fuck the Mets. Oh, and one more tidbit. You guys know I like to keep up on the minor league stuff. Arizona Fall League starts on Monday, October 7th. They're sending, one of my favorite players, no bias or anything, but Jordan Distance got the call to go out there, and a few other guys. So it's going on for like about 6 weeks. So I'll keep you guys up to date on who's doing good and whatnot. And fuck the Mets and fuck Jerry Kuzman.
Whoa.
Yeah, what do you got?
Who's
Mike?
up? Yeah, so bottom of the screen, check out John has on the blue hoodie. It's new Red October merch online right now. I would order it because it'll be here at your house for the next series after we beat the Mets. The other thing that I want to say is do not sell your tickets to Mets fans,
Yes.
which means, because you have no idea who's going to buy them, that you just need to go. If you can't go, give them to your cousin, who you know is a Phillies fan. And if you don't have tickets, also at the bottom of the screen, $20 off SeatGeek, Drunk Phil's fan, all one word, all caps. And lastly, I'm super excited for this series because I think we're going to sweep. First of all. Second of all, I think that we all wanted either the Astros or the Mets for a little bit of atonement. Astros for beating us in the World Series, and the Mets for the last series before the end of the season. And so we got this one. So let's go get them. I'm going to say fuck Brandon Nimmo, fuck the Mets, fuck Joe Carter, and everybody that's 45 years old on this call. If you haven't gotten your colonoscopy yet, please go and get it. Could save your life. Dugan.
So Monday was the doubleheader between the Mets and the Braves, and I was working, watching that doubleheader, and Dream one came true that the Diamondbacks got knocked out. Fuck them for what they did to us last year. But then I went to bed that night and I started having a dream because of the way the brackets were set up. I said, oh, wow, we could play the Mets in the divisional round and we could play the Braves in the National League Championship round. And that's what I wanted. I wanted both those motherfucking teams in our house to play them. So the fact that we're getting the Mets, it is what I want. First time ever. Phillies and Mets in a playoff series. It's hard to believe, as long as they've been going at each other, that this is the first time they're going to play each other. So I think the rivalry, this is what sports is about. When two teams like this, two cities that don't like each other, two teams that don't like each other come together in a game, in games that matter. This is going to be fucking fun. This is going to be amazing. Like Chris mentioned earlier, people coming on our page talking shit. This is what it's about. We're going to talk shit. They're going to talk shit. That's what sports is. And especially in the Northeast. You got two teams in the Northeast, that love their teams, that are passionate about their teams. The heads are going to, this is what's going to happen, obviously do it in a fun way. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but fuck the Mets don't hurt anybody, right? Fuck the Phillies if they say it doesn't hurt anybody. It just adds to it adds to the intensity of the rivalry. It adds to the intensity of the series. And I just want to see the Phillies put their dicks in the dirt. Just stomp on their fucking throats, stomp on their faces, and beat the piss out of them and send the Mets home. They can go fuck themselves. Brandon Nimmo can fuck himself. Pete Alonso can fuck himself. Goddamn, the Muppet shortstop can go fuck himself. Winker can fuck himself. Alvarez, that little catcher, I don't know. He looks a little light in the loafers to me. He can fuck himself too. Fuck them all. Fuck the Mets.
God damn,
Hey, Mike, write that
this.
down. Write that down real fast. Dicks in the dirt and light in the loafers.
Dicks in the dirt, light in the loaf. Got it.
Yeah, we got. Yo, Dugan quotes are gold, baby.
Guys, these are tough acts to follow. I hope that like my vitriol at the beginning kind of gave you some juice a little bit, but I'm feeling it, right? Like, let's start with the Yankees and the Royals. Like in the late 70s, early 80s, that was a huge rivalry.
Yes.
It's awesome to see it back. You got two rivals that are in the Central playing each other. You have two rivals in the West that fucking hate each other in the way that we and the Mets hate each other. And then there's us and the Mets. Man, this is awesome. I hate from David Aardsma down to Don Zimmer. Yes, I went on to the fucking all-time roster, and I found out what the first A was, and I found what the last C was, and I was hoping it was Todd Zeal, because I hate Todd Zeal, too. I want to go there tomorrow, and you know what? My youngest is coming with me, and I could not wait to take her to this. I knew she was going to the game, and I was thinking, man, if it's the Brewers, it'll be cool. She's going to see something we've never seen in our entire lives. You know, John in his 22 years, Mike, Chris, and I in our 50 years. This is going to be cataclysmic. It is going to be one of the biggest games at the stadium that we've ever seen. Like, we went to that one Mets game. It was one of the last games of the year. It was outlandish.
Yeah.
It was crazy. This is going to be like that to the 10th power. Like, I just can't fucking wait. I couldn't think of anything else today. Like, I literally woke up early and I just was like thinking about this game. I'm not going to be able to like go to bed tonight. And when I wake up tomorrow, like for me, for us, for the guys on this podcast, this is Christmas morning. This is Christmas Eve. This is, your birthday. This is your wedding night. I mean, Renee, it's no. This had nothing to
Why
do
not?
with,
The Mets are getting fucked. So, yeah, it is your wedding.
Hey!
The Mets are getting fucked.
But I'm so excited, and I just can't wait to be there. I can't wait to experience it with all of you. And you know what? I want to say thanks to Mom for this, because
Good
this
job,
is like
Mom.
special. Fuck
Good
the
job.
Mets.
Good
And
job.
do you know how many other things I'm going to be able to write on this? I'm going to be able to put EAD or eat a dick on here. It's going to be fucking amazing. Like, this is going to be forever. Like, Avery has one of those ones where, like, it's first day of school. I always write bad words on it or try to draw a bird. I know it's not mature, but that's what I do. I use the P and then, a bunch of I's going down and then B's for the balls. Like, listen, I know what the fuck I'm doing with these letters like this. So, you know what? Fuck the Mets. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hopefully, we see you there tomorrow. If you're going tomorrow, come and say hi to us. We're going to be tailgating. We're going to be at the game. I am so excited. So have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.
Fuck the Mets.
Go Phils.
Fuck the Mets.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Fuck the Mets.
Second, before we go off, I have the count. So I just got it sent to me. We are at 170.
Yeah.
All right, way to go.
We need
Good
24
night,
more. Fuck the Mets. 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 We get hit 200 yet? Fuck the Mets. Fuck the Mets. Fuck the Mets.
One last one. Fuck
There he
punchable face weirdo Nimmo. Thanks, Didi.
What a dork.
Yes.
Wow, that
Fuck
is
Fuck
amazing.
Casey Stengel.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Casey Stengel. I was like waiting to see if we can get all of these FTMs in. So, Chris,
Come see us tomorrow. I got stickers. We'll be there with stickers and a bunch
Yes.
of stuff. So
great job,
come see us.
204. So have a good night, everyone.
Nice job, Chris.
All right.
Night.
Fuck the Mets. 205.